Round 3.
Man, I'm not even tired. Could you read me a bedtime story?
Absolutely.
Alright, thanks.
As Jimothy's mother was leaving the room, he successfully feigned her into believing that he could barely keep his eyes open. Fortunately, he successfully dissembled his sleepiness. His mother could never discover his secret life as a vigilante. Protecting the city and slaying villains was dangerous business, and she would never allow it. Jimothy had a full night ahead of him. The prison had been broken into the previous night to release a group of obdurate inmates. After being sentenced to 15 years in prison, the gang felt a sense of ignominy about being caught so easily. Although they had appealed their case, they were yet to be exculpated. As Jimothy emerged onto the dark street from his closet passageway, he noticed the streets were suspiciously empty. He had a righteous elan that fed on the base actions of the villains of the town. On most nights, Jimothy did not have to look for trouble. The trouble came to him. But on that night, the word must have leaked that the formidable Jimothy would be on the streets. Jimothy went to the first street corner where he met his sidekick. Although abstract and not always appealing to ordinary common sense, Sully was very helpful and always deferential to the decisions of Jimothy. As Sully approached the corner, indignation could be seen in Jimothy's eyes. Sully inquired what was troubling Jimothy. Before he could finish explaining the details of the prison break, Sully shouted in outrage. Jimothy tried to mollify his friend, and he told him that an avid vigilante would not let himself be dejected by such carelessness of the prison guards. Suddenly, a vociferous shriek was heard from the alley behind where they were standing. The inmates, most of whom were slanderous criminals with a history of calumny and violence that had broken out of the prison, were mugging a damsel in distress. The avarice of the inmates was far too predictable. Jimothy turned around and dashed with lightning speed to the rescue. Jimothy decided to make a statement with a superfluous appearance. He went out of his way to not only protect the victim, but also inflict damage to the villains. His aesthetic performance was nothing less than sublime. It was an inspiring work of art. The woman was very gratuitous as she volunteered to pay the vigilante for his effort. This was a much nicer gesture than the effrontery that he had received from the previous damsel in distress. The woman simply accepted the act of kindness as a boon. As the clock atop the city approached 6 a.m., Jimothy knew he had better get back to the street corner outside his closet. His mother would be waking him up at 6:30 a.m. for Sunday church. The Sunday school class was studying theology that morning. They would laugh off his claims to be nocturnal vigilante as blasphemy. As he walked through the closet door, he heard his mother's footsteps approaching the door. He hustled into bed just in time to hear the door open.
Oh man, that was a top-notch bedtime story. I'm exhausted now. Oh, I can't even get up. Just kidding. Seriously.
Messed up.